something, at that level you will start to see politics get into it. What we want for Nigeria, let the vulture perch, let the eagle perch. Those people who use the language, let them be able to use it to do whatever they want to do with it. But if you want to now, in the Yoruba land, for instance, I would say take Nigeria and then let Yoruba die. I won't do that. Let all languages try. And all languages have their own roles. So policy will be such that we facilitate the organic development of languages. Rather than go to you want to move from English, then you move to Nigeria. I think for me, ideologically, I think we should just let Nigeria do the work it's doing as a lingua franca of intergroup communication. So when I go to the market anywhere, I can, then people want to use it in the classroom. Yes, allow those people also use it in the classroom. Stop saying that the language cannot be used. There are population of speakers of those languages for whom it is a first language. So why are you excluding those people? And that's basically my own point. But to say now, government will not pronounce that Nigeria is our national language. We already have 3. We are mismanaging the 3 languages.
I'm Professor Marufudeen Adeniyi Shittu, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University of Education. Here today, I'm representing our Vice Chancellor, Professor Epe Lafiaji-Okuneye. Today is a very significant day in the history of the university. You can see that the university is having a senate, a special senate where research is being considered. And that is why, for university to know the importance of the conference, that is why I am the least. I shouldn't be any other place today except to be within the senators to consider the research. You know, what we are doing here is to train students. They want to look at their research very vividly. But because of the importance of this conference, I am only being released to come and represent the management at this conference. That shows that the importance and the significance of this conference to the management of the university. Thank you. Well, thank you. I think if you look at the presentation from the Vice Chancellor, it focused mainly the collaboration of languages now. What the title of the conference is bringing to us is that we should look the way language, communication, and education. These are 3 angles. How are they coming together to become one? And that is why we say that coming up with this title at this present time is very, very germane for the university, because it collaborates the essence of the foundation of the university, establishment of the university. So the university is working towards that, and that is why you see, as a university of education, if you look at other universities, you have faculty of arts, you have humanities, but here in our university, you know, humanities is separate from the languages, because you want to use language to connect to other aspects of knowledge so that we can collaborate with them and become one. So we are working towards that. You can see that our language laboratory is well, we spend a huge amount of money there. It was initially at Otojaniki. For us to bring it here, that means that we know the importance of that language. So language we cannot collaborate with any other thing except the use of language. So it is a very good mission for the university. We are taking a lot away. That is why we charge us that at this conference, we don't want to sit alone. We want to argue. We want to deliberate. We want to debate so that we come up. Whatever outcome of this conference, the university is going to be a blueprint that we are going to work towards it. It's going to be presented by the management. Management will call the presenter, and the communique of this conference will be seriously go along with it. Let me just correct an impression. We are not meant for education alone. If you look at the teaching and mission of the university, we are training students to be an expert in any profession, and also in education. Our core call is we are focused on education, but despite that, and that is why you know that we have 2 programs like the Fatbat of English now. We have English education and English ordinary English, so that for people that want to focus on profession, you can come here to learn your English. But for the core value of this university that want to focus on education, we do the same thing. So what we are saying at the end of the day, we are training a student who are going to be professional in any field they belong to. Apart from being a professional, they also become a good educationist on any field they have chosen as their career. Well, the significance of this international conference is that it is staged so that we expose the outcome, the researchers, the teachers, the people that come together. Important is that whatever we come out with it, we are going to work along with to elevate, to motivate, to put the name of the university among the global one. Thank you very much.
We want to add another, we want to replace them. No, I think it will create more problems. So that's basically my solution.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate your presentation. My question is this: your topic is the role of digital technology in education. Now, so I want to find out to what extent our source, African source, Yoruba source, contributed to technology development. Because when people say that computer itself came out from Ifa Oracle.
One of a binary code in Ifa, and it's not only Ifa. There is a Chinese cultural thing also where you have this binarity. If you look historically at the development of technology all over the world, the problem often is that the history. They say, I think it was Chino Achebe who says that until the lion starts to tell the story of the hunt, it is the hunter who will tell the story. The problem basically is that, historically speaking, whatever we say is Greco-Roman today or the Western had its root in Egypt. And when you talk about Egyptians, it's not the Arabs of today who are Egyptians. It's our black Africans. And there is technology even in our juju. People call it juju. It's because it is mystified, because we don't know exactly how it works. It doesn't mean that it is juju. When you say or what's it called, Ayeta, and then you have this, what do you call it, this one, we want to move it somewhere, now, now, but let me tell you, do you know that there's something that's called remote viewing now that the American military, they are using to find out information, remote viewing. Somebody will sit down here and will be remote viewing in Russia, a secret place in Russia, using his consciousness without moving from here. What is that? Is it not? Does it exist? It's like vision now, seeing vision. I mean, it's like seeing vision. It's like prophecy, but they don't call it that again. They call it remote viewing. You have remote hearing. You have what do you call it? This telekinetics. You can have multiple embodiments. You can have people who are in multiple places at the same time. When our people were saying all these things, we say it was myth, it was superstition. But it's being validated today in science. Quantum phenomenon, quantum entanglement, what is it? Action at a distance. When you say you call somebody's image and you give him the person, you call him on the mirror and shoot him. You say it's juju, I mean? It's a science that we have not been able to explain. But people are now explaining it without necessarily going to do rituals. So the point I'm making is that there are deep knowledge that our problem is our predilection for material duality. Anything you don't see, you say it does not exist. Can you see the frequency that this system is working with? Do you know how the phone carries information? Is it not real? They'll not tell you how many of us can explain how the phone or the radio works. But we accept it. And there are forces like that. There are forces, there are principles there are entities. And one of the things I love about human beings about is that when they talk about, they say, they talk about aliens, they talk about demons. And are they not aliens? If they are not here, they are aliens. Is that also? It is so you can see the language dilemma. The name we call things and we give them change exactly our reaction to them. So we must first of all not only decolonize ourselves, we can also have to deal with the language and translation problem. Professor, you wanted to say something. I can see you are looking at me and wondering whether this man.
Thank you very much, Prof. We enjoyed that paper. But just a follow-up on the Dr. Bangoshe's comment. Now, Nigeria as a multilingual society, don't you think we need a linguistic rallying force, which Professor Ayo, late Professor Ayo talked about? And I also have a paper on that. That if you push Nigerian region or Nigeria thus far with a dictionary, can it be pushed further to become the linguistic rallying force for the entire country with all its over 400 languages? I think it's the right direction. It's just the fact is there's a difference between a national language and an official language. If we are pushing Nigeria to become a national language, it becomes a linguistic rallying force for all of us, and that helps us with these language barriers. What do you think?
Well, the military said he has no problem working until he told him, say, how can you combine these hundreds of legs? So all of a sudden he developed paralysis because he started watching his legs. That is what we academics are doing. Whenever people gather together, they invent a way of communicating. They have never had a problem. If I come to Epe today and I don't speak Yoruba, in a short while I will adjust. I will find a way of reaching the people. The people will find a way of accommodating me. Interoperability of language. That is what has created even Pidgin. That is what creates buffer languages. And so on. And that is why you have functional allocations to languages, like diglossia. That is why you have code switching. That is why you have language interlarding. That is why you have all kinds of. So there is accommodation already. Human beings have no problem communicating anywhere. They don't need a rallying point. They rally themselves. It is the Akada who wants to now impose all these debates we are doing. People are just fighting to have greatness, to have domination. Let the people be. Let the vulture perch. Let the eagle perch. There are enough trees in the forest. It is when we want. That's the point. That's my own area. You understand what I'm saying? So the Yorubas will not have a problem communicating at all. They will communicate with themselves with the Igbo people. The Igbo people may decide that it is better for them to learn Yoruba without allowing. In the home setting, they will use Igbo. So it is when politics get into it, because language is an instrument of ideology. It is this ideological end of it that actually creates the problem for the language itself. Thank you.
Last question, please.
He said Nigeria has over 400 languages. So how far can we use digital technology to map the number of languages we have in Nigeria to really say, actually, we have so numbers of language, because we have a conjecture that over 400, over 500. So that we now have digital technology. How far can we use it? I'm saying this from the point of the fact that there are some minority languages which are dying. How far can we also use digital technology to help these minority languages, to help them, and also make the speakers to have what we call identity within the scope we call Nigeria?
Thank you very much. At the current count, Nigeria has 526 languages, but we have the highest language mortality in the world. That languages are dying rapidly. But what people don't see is that language death is not just about language dying. Is that there is structural death, lexical death. In other words, before it dies as a language, certain death or disease would have been afflicting certain components of language. So what we need basically is policy. I don't think any language should be allowed to die. But the truth and the reality of it is that languages will die. But nobody is asking how many languages are being born. We think if languages were born at a point in time, and that's why we have diversity. All languages came from one language, and when it goes certain families, is it not also possible that languages are being born? Who is finding the languages that are being born? If languages are being born as languages are dying, what we need to do is to ensure that the birth rate supersedes the death rate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, two questions together, sir. This one is been written. Of what relevance is book or conventional library to research activities?
Me, I can't do without books too. You see, there's a kind of fractal thinking or fractal micro thinking that has come with the use of digital technology. People, we are told that we have to give lectures that are not more than 15 minutes. And you want those people to produce the complex thinking leaders of the world. People can only think for 15 minutes. They will now become the president Tinubu of Nigeria, who will be dealing with complex of issues at the same time. Managing this. So the thing basically for me is that the book has its role. We cannot, and the book can also occur in digital format. So having digital technology does not preclude the book. It's not a mutually exclusive situation. But so the argument will not work in that case, because you can have electronic books and you can read them. In fact, you have more access to books now. Me, I still like the physical one. I want to mark. I know you can bookmark, but my eyes also is more adapted to the because a lot of these flare from the digital technology also affect the eyes. So for small children, for instance, Sweden is now returning the book. So, but the question I always ask us Nigerians, why are we always follow? A lot of the things we are quoting, how many of the research have been done in Nigeria? What is our own idea of education? What is the philosophy and ideology of education that is propelling what we are doing? What do we want to do with technology? It's just follow. So that's the point. We can't become trend hunters. We must first of all evaluate trends and see exactly whether that's really. And then you know that there's something called technology burden. When technology becomes too expensive, it becomes a burden. And then you discover that you are no longer learning because people are already being excluded from learning. So it's important that we look at everything. And that is why the people like you are the ones who should take the first line of action and decision before government starts to talk about policy. Because the people who produce technology will always promote the market value of their technology and give you argument that support it. And it's not all technology that we should assimilate. So let's look at education, what we need, what our contexts are, what the realities are, how can we ensure that the majority benefit from them. And that is the way we do it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Finally, here, is there any linguistic relationship between Pidgin and Nigerian English? Is it promoted?
Yes, there's a lot of what we call Nigerian English. I think it's actually Nigerian Pidgin. It's dressed up. It's Nigerian Pidgin dressed up. So I think there's a lot of relationship between Nigerian. And then the problem basically for us is that we are not even promoting Nigerian Pidgin, Nigerian English. The English we evaluate in your school, sir, nobody speaks it. All the English we evaluate in in your hospital that you mark in communication. Who speaks it? Even the Queen's English is there because there is no more Queen. Nobody speaks English anymore. So it's important for us to now properly codify Nigerian English. What we have done for Nigeria, let us also do it, and we see that there's a whole point of convergence between Nigerian people, David and Nigerian English. We will now understand exactly how they differ, what the points of differentiation are.
You get the slide, and then there are multi-layered analysis that you can do with it. You can also you can add pictures to flex, for instance, and so on. So if you want to do the languages around this place, you want to study them definitively, you want to document them, you want to keep them in archives, you want to use these tools to be able to archive them. Now, what I'm doing basically is that I collected over 222 stories from Northern Edo. We are cleaning them up now. We collected them over a period of 25 years. We have cleaned them up now. We want to archive them and we want to animate them. And then we want to retell the stories in scientific tropes. Tortoise story does not have to remain tortoise. We can turn it to science fiction. We can create new sciences out of by reinterpreting what our traditional people give us in symbolisms. That's what I want to do with those stories now. And I think you people should be doing a lot of such things. If we can always, tradition never remains static. Every tradition has its logic in its time. So the tortoise of today is not of yesterday, is not the same tortoise of today. True of us. So give us the modern tortoise, speaking the modern language and acting in the modern context, and you will have to animate that tortoise. You remember the Harry Potter stories? It's juju stories now, are they not? They are just juju stories, but they have been told as magical realism. So what are we doing in literature? Are we going to remain in the same thing? Does the Yoruba elder have to dress with one kind of funny cap and be walking and be talking? Exactly. That is what the Yoruba elder today is funky. One of them was trying to stop a plane with a juju. So those are the kind of. So I thank you now well. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Can you introduce yourself? Yeah, I'm Professor Bandele Shogbeson. I'm a professor of discourse analysis from Taishola University of Education in Jago.
So, can you please tell us the significance of today's occasion, sir?
Okay. First, let me say, although I'm no longer a staff here, I was here on sabbatical and I was here as an adjunct visiting professor for some years. And I've become entrenched into the Colcaed family, and therefore I see this, because I was involved in the genesis of this university also. I see this as a midwifing of an academic child. The college is quite young, but like I was going to say inside there, the college is making great strides. It's like a baby that within 6 months is already running. This conference is a big one in the sense that just within a few years of its founding, the college is going national, it's going international. The essence of a university is scholarship, and this college is doing just that now. So it's a big leap forward for the college, and that's why I'm here.
So what message do you have to the college, sir?
Yeah, for the college, they should forge ahead. There's a challenge. The challenge is not just growing. When you grow, I mean, reaching the top is quite easy, but staying at the top is the bigger problem. they have started well, they've started big. They must ensure that they remain there and they move from there. They cannot afford to drop even a little bit lower than where they are, and they cannot remain where they are. To achieve that, they need the cooperation of everybody, and that is already happening here. And I think everybody, including students, need to suddenly and rapidly grow the confidence to operate at that level. And I'm sure everybody will do very well.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Your name once again, sir.
I'm Professor Bandele Shobesa.
Thank you very much.
Please, round of applause for Professor Okuneye. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
You don't have to come down here to be located on campus to learn from you. And then, of course, you can do micro-credentialing. What that means basically is that a lot of skills training that people will normally leave their jobs to go and do, they don't need to leave their jobs. And then technology has a way of reducing training costs because it upscales the number of people who can participate. So what you do basically is to ensure you deploy technology and enable more people to get involved in training, because the better trained people are, the more they can fend for themselves. So if you remove the walls, you operate a university without walls, which means a digitally dreaming university. You are going to see that you have more students coming in, and then of course when you have more students, you have more revenue, and then of course you broaden the scope of those who are able to benefit from the digital revolution that is taking place. And I think that's for a new university like this, where people are still hungry to do new things, this is the right time to ensure that you break those walls, and then you deploy simple tools. You don't need to go and deploy complex tools. You develop your portal system where people can interface with the institution. Then also create opportunity for people to take courses from outside in their homes. There are a number of women who are in PUDA. There are people who are out, but you have unique programs here. They want to take those programs without necessarily having to come here every time. So that will create the kind of energy and recognition that you need, and then you can improve quality as well by deploying digital tools.
Now, sir, you mentioned so many applications and so many digital tools that the university can leverage from.
Yeah.
In our times now, due to economic reasons and government not showing enough resources to public education, many universities cannot leverage on this. How can we improvise?
You know, there are open source technology. The whole open source ideology is to create opportunity for people to develop things freely and to access materials, even high quality content online that are in open source format. So the absence of funding and money is no longer a big excuse. So you can begin with open source, and then you can begin to create your own proprietary materials arising when you have become familiar with those materials. So open source technology, open source software, for instance, the Moodle is open source. And then of course there are a lot of open educational resources. If you go to the Commonwealth of Learning platform, you'll find a lot of them. There are millions of those resources that people can use and adapt. And then you can also use AI. There are free AI tools that you can also use to create the frames for developing your own course materials. So it's quite an interesting time that we are in.
Well, finally, the commended Colcaed, the way we're able to control the nomenclature,
yes,
that it attracts and it also gives room for collaboration.
Yes.
What do you think we should start doing after this conference?
It's after this conference, I think you should be focused more on collaboration. There are departments, but don't build walls between these departments. For instance, you have a lot of language departments. If you have the curricula should be such that the courses that are similar, you remove redundancies, you modularize your content, you modularize your curriculum, so that somebody who is in Yoruba and needs to learn phonetics can do the same thing with somebody who is in French that needs to learn phonetics. There are common areas of convergences, and then of course for the lecturers, they can do joint projects. If there are language problems in a particular language, you can do a comparative studies to see exactly how the problem presents across the different language areas. So it's important. Collaboration is the new game. Multidisciplinarity is the new norm. And when we do that, because knowledge is very fluid, we are in an era of fluidity of knowledge, and because reality itself is fluid, and so we must move with it so that and then of course evolve with it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sir, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Professor Francis Ibokare. I'm from the Department of Linguistics and African Languages, University of Ibadan.
All right, thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you.
Good day, our visitor. How may we be of you? I investigated the back of the place and found a lot of food, and I want to buy it. Oh, that's good. Mora, let your day go on to it. Who question of that?
Oui, on a tel goût.
Oui, je le savais pour voir la terre.
Très bon, je vais t'accompagner.
Merci, Mora. Let's go and see the new.
Mona, pourquoi le roi n'attire pas à la princesse d'Outradi?
Don't note them. Les faits pardonnent les affaires du village. Oui.
This is the land. Check very well.
I am ready to pay any amount.
Any amount?
Yes.
You know this land has a lot of. If this is the land, you pay 20,000 gold coin.
6,000 gold coin?
Yes.
I'll pay.
Let me have the money now. I'll relate to the king later. That's all. Yes, okay.
What a great deal.
Les PM go on terrain. Et il a choisi la tête de Anana. Et il a payé 10 000 dollars. 10 000.
10 000?
Oui, mon roi.
10 000 dollars pour mon petit travail. Je vais le vendre, Mora.
Mon roi. Mora.
Prenez 2 000 d'or pour vos services.
Mora, c'est très gentil. Merci beaucoup, Mora.
Oui, oui. Anana.
Mora.
Prenez 5 000 d'or pour l'hôtel.
50 Mora, merci beaucoup. Vous venez l'hôtel.
Moi, je garderai 3 000 d'or pour moi.
Mora, merci beaucoup.
Oui, Mora.
Hey.
Mora, surtout avec la demande
Oui, oui. Il a acheté l'hôtel de la pour 10 000 d'or.
10 000? C'est énorme. 10 000 Oui, quoi. Papa, c'est un bon mensonge. Si vous l'étranger donné Covid, on met pisse dans la terre. Vous ne doutez pas? Oui, il n'y a rien, mais on met pisse dans. Il a dit qu'il y avait de l'eau sur la terre.
C'est une accusation que vous connaissez.
Papa, je ne peux pas te mentir. Je comprends la langue d'étranger. Et tu sais.
C'est vrai. Oh, vous êtes mort. God! Allez, appelez tous les villageois sur la place du village. Maintenant, allez. Oh, c'est mort.
Thank you, please. Thank you very much. Let us appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you. Please, we can appreciate. Even if we don't understand the language, at least we can see the gestation and all that. Let us appreciate them. Thank you for putting up very wonderful performance. Thank you. Prof, sir.